In this video, we're going to be talking about the best use cases for B2B sales and B2B outreach while leveraging this new thing called Clay. So, what is Clay? It's simply a platform to optimize your outreach. It's kind of weird. People keep talking about data enrichment and validation and all these things. But today, we're going to talk about three real life use cases and how they actually generated 2 million plus in pipeline for my company and my clientele. For the three use cases I show, I'll be showing three Clay tables and how I use them in real life. So who am I? I'm Ali Hassan Sharif. I've delivered outreach, B2B sales outreach for 20 plus clients. I'm currently running Sharif Capital. This is a screenshot right here of a $40,000 cash collected deal for one of my clients. You can see that on LinkedIn, we didn't even do the outreach to this prospect. What happened is we sent a connection request on behalf of our client. Then the prospect looked at my client's profile and reached out himself. You see the first insight here, the first message here is thanks for reaching out. I couldn't find a pricing page on your site. I see you have UX UI design. So, I want to learn about your practice. And they went back and forth. And this ended up becoming a 3.5K retainer deal on a month-to-month long-term basis for my client. No outreach, just simply a connection request. That's the power of Clay. Clay lets you bring in all your sales data in a centralized way and then clean it, validate it, and find these strategies for your outreach. So the first use case I'm going to talk about today is centralized data cleaning. Okay, for those of you who are running email campaigns or outreach campaigns, you probably know the struggle of, exporting a lead from Apollo, from SalesNav, from ZoomInfo, combining everything together on an Excel spreadsheet, going into your email finding tools like Prospeo, Lead Magic, ICPs, Million, Verifier, Never Bounce, manually uploading the lists, exporting it, uploading it somewhere else, and then exporting it. And then you spend so many hours just cleaning and validating all your data, right? What's awesome about Clay is you can just import your spreadsheets into one centralized table. And then with the built-in integrations, all those softwares I just mentioned, they're all built in already into the platform. So you can just click a button and run the Prospeo enrichment, the Lead Magic enrichment, the ICPs enrichment, the Never Bounce enrichment, and have everything being validated in real time on the one table. So let me show you an example of this. I have a table here of something that I exported from Apollo. You can see that we have an email table that came from Apollo. So Apollo had some leads to export. Going forward from that, I also use the Prospeo Find Work email, the API endpoint, and I found emails that Apollo was not able to find. And Nevermore, I stacked that once more with Lead Magic. So if Prospeo wasn't able to find an email, then I would then use Lead Magic. And with that, I'm getting like 10, 20% more emails just off of that. And I'm getting verified contacts. So that way your bounce rate on emails is a lot shorter. This way your TAM is higher. And now you have all these validated emails for 700 contacts instead of like 500. So that's an extra 1 to 200 people you get to contact with the centralized validation. So this by far is the easiest, highest ROI use case for Clay. You don't have to do anything like fancy prompting, fancy scraping. It's simply centralized data cleaning. The benefits, as I mentioned, they're saving a lot of time by automating all that. Instead of like manually going to all these softwares, Clay just automates everything in one platform. You're going to have higher accuracy in your contact data, which means lower bounce rates, your deliverability will be higher, and you're going to get more profits. So the second highest ROI use case in Clay, lead qualification. This is super, super useful in improving your response rates and not just spamming random people. So if we go into the same table, I do have an example right here. So This client of mine, she only works with creative agencies, so like design agencies, um, you know, pretty much graphic design agencies, right? So over here, I'm taking a clay prompt, a Claygent prompt. So a Claygent is, think of it as a GPT that has access to the internet. So I told this Claygent, go to this prospect's website, classify them as a design, branding, or marketing agency. So just go through the text, go through the headlines, go through the images, the services, and everything, and then determine true or false if they are a creative agency. I'll put true, otherwise I'll put false. This way, right now I have a filter on so I can show you. Right now it's all true. But you can see with Clay, you can actually filter things down. If I make this false, for example, and I remove, yeah, you can see that there are so many agencies or prospects on this list that are just not worthy of outreaching to. So we would just be emailing 200 extra people and we're just spamming them because we don't want to actually serve them. And they can report us as spam. And then our email inboxes are cooked. And now our whole campaign is cooked. So this is the second highest ROI use case of Clay, which is just lead qualification. Qualify your prospects before you reach out to them. It can be any type of criteria you define. The third highest ROI use case is campaign segmentation. This is a really neat one, a really cool one. Let's say you run an Apollo search or a Clay search or a sales nav search and you get all these supply chain companies, 50 to 500 employees. You might have 10,000 uh, leads, right? 10,000 companies. But you can then segment that list down to manufacturers who are doing computer electronics manufacturing, medical equipment manufacturing, software manufacturing, etc. And from these segments, you can then create personalized campaigns to each and every segment. So I'll even show my email software for this. I'll show you an example real quick of what this looks like. And you can see here's a segmentation. From all these 2,200 lists, leads, I wanted to segment them by the buyer persona. So let's look at what this is doing. I'm classifying a lead as 1, 2, or 3. You're an expert persona classifier. You'll be given 3 buyer personas of our solution. So this is an AI automation agency. You'll be given a person's details, and your job is to classify them with the most befitting persona. So persona 1, the operations leader, anyone who's a decision maker in operations, the IT decision maker, anyone who's in the IT decision making, and the guy who is in customer experience and sales. So anyone who is like front of the business, doing the relationship building. So we have these 3 personas. Yeah, so we just output 1 to 3 based on this persona. And from here, I can go into my email software and I'll show you. There's a lot of benefits, so many benefits in segmentation, not just for the copywriting, because now you can copyright, uh, you know, unique emails for each and every segment. So you can see that this is actually those personas: COO persona, IT persona, customer success persona. Not only can I write, tailored copy for each and every segment, I can also see the numbers. I can see which segment is performing better than the others. And for the other ones, it just wasn't as strong. So now I know that, okay, COO personas are more likely to buy rather than the other personas. So now when I launch a new campaign, I know I should focus on COO and I should put my efforts there. So it's also about A/B testing and writing more unique copy for your leads. So you can segment by the leads, by people, and you can also segment by companies. From those segments, you can have unique one-to-one messaging, and you can also segment by the buyer persona. So the segmentation, it creates a lot of new work because now you have to run 20 campaigns instead of just one massive campaign. But those 20 campaigns will give you A/B split test data, and you'll just have high response rates because your messaging is more tailored to the segment. I hope that all made sense in a segmentation. You just have to define criteria for your segments. You have to define the different personas or the different company segments, and then just create different campaigns. So, like I mentioned, this is a generic campaign. Now you can segment with the company segment, and now you can segment by the person, the title of the person, and now you can stack both of those together and just freaking compound and exponentially raise your campaign success. Yeah, those were the top 3 use cases for Clay. Just to recap, data validation and data cleaning. Easiest and simplest and highest ROI use case is just cleaning your data. Number 2 is qualifying your leads before you reach out to them. Number 3 is stacking segmentation on the companies, on the people, and then writing very unique copy and split testing your outreach results. So number 4, there's a lot more use cases for Clay. Those are just my personal favorites. This is really big, intent triggers, finding things like social intent, growth insights, job postings. Clay can scrape digital footprint. So intent triggers are awesome. And actually, from the beginning of the video, that lead who reached out to us, that was from an intent trigger. That was a social intent trigger that we found that lead in, and then they were just already ready to buy because of the things that they're consuming, that we know that they were consuming, based on social intent. Number 2 is ClayGen enrichment. Bespoke scraping enrichments. ClayGen is just a web scraping AI, so you can enrich a lot of data points. Number 3 is AI personalization. I don't like to promote this use case too much because they just end up personalizing all this random crap. Personalization is super strong. It's amazing if it's done right. There has to be a strategy behind it. There has to be actual relevancy behind it. It can't just be, hey, I saw you went to college in 1994, go Packers, right? That's not good. But if you can write this business process that you do on a day-to-day basis can be optimized with this AI customer support tool, right? So I hope you found this video valuable, guys. They're just a bunch of use cases for your Clay outreach. You can always reach out to me if you have any questions. If you have, I can teach you about Clay one-to-one. So if you'd like, feel free to reach out. And that's the video.